In my last video, I told you about the practice I built by accident, the one where my calendar was full, but I was miserable. Wrong clients, zero alignment, burnout, and coming fast. And if you missed it, go ahead and watch it. The link is somewhere around here. But short version is I had a website, it looked fine, and it was doing absolutely nothing for me. So today, I want to get into why that happens, because it's not random, it's not bad luck, and it's definitely not your design. It's brand strategy. And most therapists have no idea what that actually means, or that it's the thing sitting underneath everything else that you're trying to do to get clients. So that's what we're doing today. Let's get into it. And real quick, if we haven't met, I'm Crystal Renee, and I am a licensed therapist, and I help therapists in private practice get clear on their messaging and build websites that actually attract the right clients. Subscribe if that's the kind of thing that you need, because this is what I talk about every week on this channel. Okay, so here's where I want to start. When therapists come to me, they almost always think they have a website problem or a marketing problem. They're asking, should I be on Instagram? Should I be blogging? Do I need to be doing SEO? And those aren't wrong questions, but they're the wrong first questions, because none of those things work well, consistently, sustainably, without something underneath them. And that something is brand strategy. Here's what most people don't realize. Marketing is how you get your message out. Brand strategy is what that message actually says and who it's for. You can be on every platform, posting every day, credentialed with every insurance panel, and still be invisible to clients you actually want to work with, because the foundation isn't there. That's what happened to me. And that's what I see happening with a lot of therapists. So let's talk about what brand strategy actually is, because I know when therapists hear that phrase, they immediately think logo, colors, maybe even a font or two. And while those things are a part of it, they come way, way later, like last almost. So brand strategy is the thinking that happens before you touch any of that. It answers three questions. First, who do you actually help? And I don't mean demographics. I don't mean adults 25 to 45 with anxiety. I mean, what does their anxiety look like on a Tuesday afternoon? What have they already tried? What are they tired of feeling? What do they tell themselves is wrong with them that they haven't said out loud to anyone? Second, what makes your work different? Not your modalities, not the certifications after your name. Those matter, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. I mean, how do you think about your clients' problems? How do you actually show up in session? What do people say after working with you that they didn't expect going in? And third, how do you communicate all of that in a real human way that people actually understand? Not clinical language, not credentials first, the words your clients use to describe their own experience. That's it. Those three questions, that's brand strategy. And if you don't have clear answers to them, everything you put online, your website, your Instagram, your Psychology Today, it's all going to feel disconnected, because it is. So here's the thing about how people actually choose a therapist, okay? It's not credentials. I know we want it to be, because we spent a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of years earning those credentials, but it's not. It's recognition, okay? Someone lands on your website and they either think this person gets me, or they think this could be for anyone, and they leave. That moment of recognition, that's not your color palette, all right? And that's what happens when your messaging is clear, when your brand strategy is working, and the stakes are real. Research shows that 81% of people need to trust a brand before they'll even consider working with them. For therapists, that trust starts building the second someone reads your first headline. Before they know your rate, before they know your availability, before they ever speak to you, okay? They read your words and they either feel seen or they don't. So here's what I see happen over and over. A therapist decides their website isn't working, right? So they buy a new template, hire someone to redo the design, rewrite their about page for the fourth time, and it still doesn't feel right. Still not bringing in aligned clients. And they're thinking, what am I missing? What's almost always missing is the foundation, the brand strategy underneath everything else. So, because here's something I say a lot, and I mean it every time. A beautiful website with unclear messaging is like a good looking, well dressed man. And as soon as they open their mouth, ain't nobody really home, if you get what I mean by that. So the design is nice, but it's not doing the real work. Design supports message, it doesn't replace it. You can have the most gorgeous website on the internet, and if the words on it are vague and generic, sounding like every other therapist out there, people leave because nothing made them feel seen. So let me make this practical. Here are 3 places brand strategy actually shows up in your practice. First, your website, the copy. Without brand strategy, your copy defaults to generic, a safe, supportive space, helping you heal and grow. Technically true, but connects with no one, because those phrases could belong to any therapist anywhere. With brand strategy, you're writing to a specific person about a specific experience. Someone reads it and thinks, how does she know that's exactly what I've been going through? That's what you want. That's the goal. Next, your social media. Without brand strategy, your content feels scattered. Tips one day, a personal share the next, a meme another day, no thread connecting any of it. With brand strategy, everything is guided by who you serve and what they need to hear. People start to recognize you, and recognition builds trust. Trust leads to inquiries. And your directories, even your Psychology Today bio, if we're still using them, or Therapy for Black Girls profile, or whatever. Even how you introduce yourself. When someone asks you, what do you do at a networking event? When you have brand clarity, you stop stumbling. You say it cleanly. People get it immediately. Here's the order that actually works, because most therapists jump straight into step number 4 and then wonder why nothing's really clicking. So step 1, get specific about who your ideal client is, not a demographic, a full human picture, their fears, their frustrations, the specific loop they've been stuck in, what they've already tried that hasn't worked. Step 2, define what makes your work different, not modalities, how you think, how you show up. What makes a session with you feel different from a session with another therapist who also uses CBT? And step 3, translate all of that into language they would actually use, their words, not clinic speak, not credentials, their words. And step 4, build your website around that. Every section should guide someone from this sounds familiar to this is exactly who I need to call. And step 5, everything else gets easier. Instagram, blog posts, directories, referral conversations, all of it flows because it's all coming from the same clear foundation. Now, I want to stay here for a second because this is where most therapists hesitate. Getting specific feels risky. It feels like you're leaving people out. Like if you niche down, you'll have fewer potential clients. I felt that. I held on to, I help adults with anxiety and depression for way longer than I should have because it felt safer. But here's what I know now. Specificity is not an exclusion. It's an act of service. When someone reads your website and thinks this person is describing me, that's the specificity working. That's what makes them reach out. So vague messaging doesn't protect you from losing clients. It just makes you invisible to the ones who actually need and are looking for you. So here's what I want to leave you with today, okay? If your website isn't bringing in the right clients, or you don't have a website yet and you keep putting it off, The answer is almost never a better design. It's almost always a messaging problem, a translation problem, the gap between how skilled you are in a therapy room and how clearly that's coming across online. And that gap is closable. It just starts with the foundation, brand strategy, not aesthetics. So you already know how to connect with people in session. You do it every single day. You just haven't learned how to translate that into your website yet. So you're closer than you think. You're just not saying it directly enough yet. And if you want a quick step, I have a free guide that actually walks you through exactly why your therapy website isn't connecting and how to fix your headline in about 10 minutes. The link is in the description, all right? And if you're ready to go deeper than a headline, that's what my Website Clarity Intensive is for. We get your full message clear, map your homepage, and get you out of that rewriting loop for good. That link is down there too. So subscribe if this was helpful. I'm here every week breaking this down specifically for therapists and private practice, and I'll see you in the next one.